The priest stood silently in the middle of the Vatican Garden, his hands trembling, drenched in blood. Not just any blood, but the blood of Pope Francis. His eyes were blank, as though he had just woken from a nightmare. No one believed it at first. How could a priest, sworn to serve God, kill the Pope, the very symbol of the Church? What's more disturbing is why he did it. Because when the truth came out, it wasn't just murder, it was a plan, dark, twisted, and centuries in the making. Father Emilio was a quiet man, always early to morning mass, always last to leave the confessional. He had been serving in the Vatican for over 15 years, and not once had he missed any Sunday. To most, he was the definition of devotion. But behind his calm smile was a heavy secret, one passed down to him by his grandfather, who whispered it on his deathbed. "You must finish what I could not." The Vatican has lied to the world for centuries. Even the Pope is part of it. At the time, Emilio had no idea what his father meant, but those words would haunt him, echo in his dreams, and eventually twist into a dangerous obsession. 6 years before Pope Francis' death, Father Emilio discovered something strange: an old key hidden inside a wall in the oldest part of the Vatican archives. There was no label, no instructions, just the key and a strange symbol: a serpent wrapped around a cross. Late one night, after months of searching, he found the lock that matched. It led to a narrow stairway, deeper into the earth than he thought the Vatican even went. At the bottom was a sealed room filled with scrolls and forbidden texts, documents written in Latin, Aramaic, and ancient Hebrew. The more he read, the more disturbed he became. He discovered records that contradicted the teachings of the Church, evidence of power struggles, secret societies, and blood sacrifices made in the name of preserving order. But the worst was a prophecy, a chilling document that said, "When the humble rises, the throne shall fall. He must not be allowed to finish the work." It had Pope Francis' name written on the side in dark ink that looked suspiciously like blood. Pope Francis was known for his humility. He lived simply, rejected luxury, and fought fearlessly for the poor and oppressed. But to the hidden powers in the Church, those who lived in politics and centuries of unchallenged tradition. He was a threat. Father Emilio became convinced the prophecy was real and Pope Francis unknowingly was walking into the hands of death. If the prophecy was true, someone or something would try to stop him. And if Emilio didn't act fast. But here's where things took a darker turn. Instead of protecting the Pope, Emilio began to believe he was chosen, not to save the Pope, but to fulfill the prophecy. He started seeing signs. Strange birds flying overhead during his prayers. Candles that blew out on their own. Shadows in the hall that vanished when he turned. He started hearing whispers at night. One voice kept coming back. He must fall for the truth to rise. His fellow priests noticed the change. Emilio was distant, jittery, obsessed. He stopped attending meetings. He spoke of cleansing, of secrets, of holy justice, but no one took him seriously. They thought he was tired, maybe just overwhelmed. They were wrong. On a quiet morning, when the Pope had gone for his usual walk in the Vatican Gardens, Father Emilio followed, his hands shaking inside his robe, gripping a blade he had taken from the ceremonial altar. He walked slowly, whispering prayers or maybe curses. He approached Pope Francis from behind. The Pope turned, smiled at him, and said, "Peace be with you, Emilio." That was the last thing he ever said. The knife entered his chest with shocking force. The Pope gasped, fell to the ground, his eyes wide with pain and betrayal. Emilio didn't run. He just dropped to his knees and wept. Blood on his hands, lips trembling. When the guards came running, he said one thing: the prophecy is fulfilled. The church is free. The Vatican tried to keep everything quiet. The public was told the Pope died of a sudden heart failure. No one outside the inner circle knew the truth. Not until a journalist leaked photos from the crime scene and a fragment of the prophecy scroll. The world erupted. Questions flooded in. Who was Father Emilio really? What did he discover in the archives? What prophecy was so powerful it drove a priest to marvel. Some believed he was insane. Others think he uncovered a secret so terrifying the Vatican had no choice but to erase it. And him, Father Emilio, died in a locked room 2 weeks later. The official report said suicide, but his final note read, "He was the last true one. I only did what must be done." To this day, no one knows the full truth behind Pope Francis' death. The Vatican refuses to comment. The secret archives were sealed once again. But rumors continue to spread about ancient orders, cursed prophecies, and a war within the church that may never end. The most disturbing part, there were whispers that Father Emilio wasn't the only one chosen, and that the prophecy has another line, one that has never been revealed to the world. When the blood is spilled, a second gate shall open, and the world shall burn or reborn. For disclaimer, this story is completely fictitious. The names and events narrated in this story are completely imagined, told, and visualized by Ifijide's folktales. None of it really happened. Please subscribe to this channel, give this video a big thumbs up, share this video to your loved ones, and I must see you in my next one. Bye-bye.